Yo, we was down but things got better. Big fat check to your meza. From the gutter nifike macheda. Lazima tushike maacres. Gito yuto na mission remember. Vile siku zote za kalenda. Kuna siku moja tutachapenya. Lazima tushike maacres. We was down but things got better. Big fat check to your meza. From the gutter nifike macheda. Lazima tushike maacres. Gito yuto na mission remember. Vile siku zote za kalenda. Kuna siku moja tutachapenya. Lazima tushike maacres.
Listening to the best music.
Feel the freshness.
Na baby moms anadai mlishe but family from na bloody sticker so me sita use interest no rich peke no rejects tulianza 10 from ages ni step by step on stages na reminisce nikisifa I'm faded one mic na melissa the shoot yes ikifuata na bible pages akikuja hajaiva decent means atela na die some babies ningemoka na futa before nikakosa kujituma nika flop never been lucky.
Always a great time to be alive. It's your girl Iwerton Lungoria on Let's Love with Iwerton. Download our app on the Google Play Store. A deep conversation over here. How we feeling? How we doing? It's a Wednesday. It's December 10th. How are you feeling about December? Hope you're happy and peaceful and surrounding yourself with people who bring the best version out of you. But download our app on the Blackwood Fire Radio Network. Media for the 21st century. Always talking about redefining Africa as we redefine ourselves because it's time to take back our power. It's the African awakening, baby.
We was down but things got better. Big fat check to your meza. From the gutter nifike macheda. Lazima tushike maacres. Gito yuto na mission remember. Vile siku zote za kalenda. Ndakuchapia 2-3 vile unaweza kuwa numero 1. Hata kama msukukwenda mabad boy usiwayomba pusi na fujo. Arif engineering graduate akomtani anakinda mabulldog. Hapa Kenya hadi ni chocha deep state tishageuzia Ruto. Bidii ndio najua. Nikisema inakuwa ni sure. Shingo ISIS kia mafua. Mina ugua. One time for the time tulikosa choni ya kijamwa kumaliza pressure. Pesi me lost mashake on sale. Wanuzina nizo acres.
You're now listening to the best music.
Feel the freshness.
Life is a gamble, bro. But leo sika kesho man. Kwa mangoma na faku snap. But leo mina bunga facts. Nili face my fears one on one. Missy chui ku relax. Na bleed kwa beat. Feel my pain. Naifanyanga from the heart. We was down but things got better. Big fat check to your meza. From the gutter nifike macheda. Lazima tushike maacres. Gito yuto na mission remember. Vile siku zote za kalenda. Kuna siku moja tutachapenya. Lazima tushike maacres. We was down but things got better. Big fat check to your meza. From the gutter nifike macheda. Lazima
You're now listening to the best music.
remember. Vile siku zote za kalenda. Kuna siku moja tutachapenya. Lazima tushike maacres. Kuna wali jam ili let down like over understand. This is pilot engineer my son but I'm still the man. Step by step on stages na reminisce nikisipa I'm faded. My fan going account kwenye pole kuna vitu na plan.
Coming in right away right now. In a second as you download our app. Coming with the health and benefits.
For real. Do as I say, don't mimic me. Your best rapper is excited to meet me.
One hit at a time.
No say no kage WhatsApp groups delete me. I'm talking about they will release me. I got the number to the commissioner. I'm really living but they limit me. I'm really talking me, I've been listening. You take caution when you deal with me. Now go ahead and take a process of the new regime. I'm wrong, that's why they gotta act like they cool with me. Oh no, we wish I did you before I'm through with it. Baby, I wanna see you next year. Seeing you every day. Now you can't fear what to live. So that you are super, I'm a fast year. But it's really a last cheer. I get money, then I get money, then I get money, then I get money, then I get more. Fuck me, you can fuck sleep, you can fuck him, you can fuck loose, baby, go, that you get bored. What you need, I want to be, I said so. You do my hands and I go like, baby, that go. Fresh lyrics coming off the fucking techno. And it's like, let the tiraka. Hopes won't sleep. I said the hopes won't sleep. They won't have no peace. Nigga, Ali Dani, Nitakuja, one man, look at me. With the gang, give your heart. We was lucky, I loved it. Pull up chicks that in on my last day. She gave me her best friend for my birthday. I'm Scotty, all I did the wrong things. We the Mandelas, we never relax. I told my son to be the best at whatever he does. You ever go, you are the handful man that we trust. So anytime you go forward, you never rebust. No matter what you do, it is a must. We used to run to school, we need a bus. New and improved, digital rust. Doing hard times with the crew, but it shall pass. None of these rappers don't rap. Only rapper with a sing along buzz. When I'm talking, better shut your damn mouth, motherfucker. You're so lucky you can chill around us. Yeah, but I told them for real. My little brother wanna handle it for me. I asked them to pack it up on Eco Bees. Yini mapanganga machikambo na kubitch. That feeling kokombali again. Juu ya shilingi na zata kubali again. Dreams are kichizi. Gari na fake, but imekronico ready kukua mzaya wa msee. Niliwaondoa pia mi mas niende mzali tunyona kutupika kazi na pembe. Family nigga nina trust ya rende. Sijabadilika bado niko fuck manjeke. Tulishinda umovi chochoro. Kenye litufanya mabroni kikoro. Squeezy za makona ziko nomo. Na squeezy kiniona niko solo. Sleep, I said you up so sleep. You won't have no questions.
Feel the freshness.
Happy days, happy Wednesday. How are we feeling? How are we doing? Happy December, happy 2026. I'm already there. I'm already in April. I don't know about you, but welcome to another conversation here with us on Let's Talk with Ewerton about scraping off African aid and Euro educational system. We'll definitely delve into that and how we can scrape off our educational system, which has definitely miseducated us, and also talk about how all this started right away in the African continent. We do have also a good conversation about the Benin coup, and the one and only Pierre Lumumba will definitely give us a pointer about France, ECOWAS, and the truth behind the Benin coup. Also, we'll delve into another conversation about exposing the West agenda in Africa, neo-colonialism, culture, and new alliances. But before I move forward, let's listen into the health and benefit of some of the supplements we do have for you on our website. If you're using the iPhone, you can actually stream on www.blackwoodfireradionetwork.com or the computer. But if you're using the Android device, you can actually just download the app super free on the Google Play Store. But right now, let's listen into the health and benefit of some of the supplements we do have. I'm using the Seymour supplement. I don't know what you're taking. General Mosquito, I hope you've ordered your beetroot right away.
Beetroot, nature's powerhouse. Packed with vitamins, antioxidants, and nitrates, it's known to support heart health, boost stamina, and improve blood circulation. Our beetroot is naturally grown and harvested at peak ripeness. The roots are cleaned, dried, and finely ground to preserve their rich nutrition content, giving you all the benefits in one pure form. Add 1 teaspoon of beetroot powder to your juice, smoothie, or water, or take it in capsule form as recommended by your healthcare provider. Beetroot helps enhance endurance, lower blood pressure, and keep you feeling energized and balanced all day. Fuel your body with the natural power of beetroot. Stay strong, stay healthy. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
$90. We also do have t-shirt, hoodies, sandals, mags, bags with the Black Hot Fire Radio logo on it, representing the awakening and the Ubuntu spirit in the African continent. How are you doing about that? I hope you all have ordered something on our website. But before we dive into the conversation, an amazing motivational to boost you up in this holiday season.
What if I fail?
And that's the thing. This is what is keeping people
No,
back.
wait, what if you succeed?
That's my thing. Why don't people think about what if I get away with
Oh my
it?
God, what would my life look like?
Exactly.
Oh my God, wait, what if it actually happens?
Yes.
Oh my God, wait, what if I actually get this opportunity from it?
Fact.
What if like it changes like the dynamic of my family?
You're that way.
Wait, what if it breaks generational curses?
You're that way.
Wait a minute. What if I become like the example for my community?
You're
Oh
getting
my God, wait a minute. What if I fail? Oh my God, that's not cheap. That's so yesterday.
It's
What if I
overrated. It's not
fail?
even underrated. It's overrated.
It's overrated. What if I fail? Ew, enough. I in fact, I will be the first in this community to cancel that for my life. Because I'm a what if I fail person. But from from today, I'm changing.
Yes, or need to change.
I'm changing.
More agree.
Because what if the opportunities are so big, you can share them with your whole community?
Oh, fact.
And all their lives change.
The thing is, the key that is in your hand can feed everybody else. You're not the ones that say, what if I do it and it doesn't
What
work
if they
out?
laugh at me?
What if they laugh at you? You are meant to be the one to feed them, and you're saying that what if they laugh at you? Those people that are waiting for somebody to feed them, but you cannot even see it. People see more negative to the step that they can take than the positive side of the step that they can take.
So it's
What if
this doesn't
it
work?
What if
works? But delving into the conversation, always believe. Just say, what if it works? Because a lot of us are always saying, what if it doesn't? What if it doesn't? It's always the first thing to actually slip out of your mind. But what if it works? Try it. What if it actually happens? What if that thing comes through? What if that business works out? You never know, but be positive about it. But back to the main conversation about scraping off African Debt Aid and Euro educational system, we do have another point to start with here. We need to convene the leaders of Africa to talk about this visa story. And Africa must unite. I love what's happening in Tanzania. I love what happened in Kenya. I love what's happening in Burkina Faso, Nepal, name it. Everywhere in Africa, in the world, it's an awakening season. I know we'll talk about how Africans are not woke, how Africans are not doing it, but it's happening in this generation. There's a rise of Africans who are fearless, who are definitely ready to question and basically point things out and tell you cannot disrespect me in my face. You cannot talk to me like that, honey, because, honey, this is me. This is the new African leaders rising for today. It's not the norm yesterday or the yesterday of Africans, where you can definitely get away with everything you do or you say. Right now, we have a generation that will basically point out everything wrong that they see. You'll not talk to them anyhow you feel like. They'll definitely tell you, do not talk to me like that in your face.
Paris, get on a train and end up in Brussels. But if I want to move from Joburg to Gaborone, I must produce a passport. Who's the genius that came up with the scheme? You know, the Europeans are so quick to tell us that we can't bundle ourselves into a single block, but they've done it. I'm sorry, can we just pause? Just one moment, pause the time. Who designed this nonsense? I have a theory, and here is my theory.
During the Berlin conference, obviously, that's a very rhetorical question, obviously. But I'm super glad because you know what? Everything will always go back to its natural humanity. Let me say that. And there's a new rise of Africans in every sector, political, social, and economic, to basically rise up again and redefine the cost of Africa.
Only lock the vault where there is money. And so maybe there's a reason you've been kept out of that neighboring country. Maybe there's a reason you've been kept out of that neighboring region. Maybe there's a reason you can't travel to that other place, because if you were to, there is something you might do.
When you unite, it's going to be something else. We're going to be powerful together. If we unite, we're powerful as a unit in everything, actually, because we always have that one mind to come together. The Ubuntu spirit will definitely start rising within us. I see that happening also in a lot of African communities or in African countries. I love the way Kenyans came through for Tanzania. And I like the fact that Tanzania literally wrote or basically read that from the finance bill that happened last year in the 254 Nairobi, Kenya. So there's a new generation that will definitely not take bullshit.
That would help us build what we all know we are capable of. So first, keep them away from each other. Second, convince them that they're enemies with each other. And third, convince them that the other one is better than the other one. We need to convene the leaders of this continent to talk about this visa story. This is a disaster. And let me just say the following. I struggle to understand why I can land in Paris, get on a train, and end up in Brussels. But if I want to move from Joburg to Gaborone, I must produce a passport. Who's the genius that came up with the scheme? You know, the Europeans are so quick to tell us that we can't bundle ourselves into a single block, but they've done it. I'm sorry, can we just pause? Just one moment, pause the time. Who designed this nonsense? I have a theory, and here is my theory. You only lock the vault where there is money. And so maybe there's a reason you've been kept out of that neighboring country. Maybe there's a reason you've been kept out of that neighboring region. Maybe there's a reason you can't travel to that other place, because if you were to, there is something you might do that would help us build what we all know we are capable of. So first, keep them away from each other. Second, convince them that they're enemies with each other. And third, convince them that the other one is better than the other one. We need.
That's it in regards to the fact that Africa must unite. All this little fragmentation of countries has basically been kept. Basically, was actually created to keep us impoverished, first of all, to make us think that we're enemies of each other, and also for us to basically stay stagnated. But can you imagine if you unite one leader, one currency, name it, and the fact that the Ubuntu spirit will rise and it will basically march to become one people as it used to be. But all this started during the Berlin Conference, where all this was decided without any single African leader or individual on the stage of the African continent.
One, Africa is the richest continent on earth by far.
Hello?
Yes. No continent comes even close.
Uh-huh.
One. Two, we are all Africans because life began in Africa. Life as we know it, I can tell you, my brother, right now, you do your DNA testing, I can tell you, a good 50% of you is African. We are all Africans. And thirdly,
Proud to be.
Thank you. And then thirdly, I want everybody to know about the wonderful news coming out of Africa. Remember we were talking about the Berlin Conference, how we were designed to fail through these little countries who were divided up? Well, guess what? Game is over. April this year, we saw our leaders come together and signing the African Continental Free Trade Agreement.
When you look at Africa today, what do you see?
I see an amazing continent, a continent that is endowed with everything and anything the world could ever need. I see a continent that is full of hope, a continent that has some of the most incredible, resilient people I've ever met. When you really honestly look at what
That's for sure, like 100%, the most resilient people we could ever have. And that's what I feel like, and I believe we do need conscious leaders, most of all, because the leaders we do have right now, it doesn't work like that. I always say this each and every time. I actually give my accolade to the one and only Ibrahim Traoré to actually shining a light on how Africa can be independent. And if you can come together and scrape up all this system that has been used to actually lead and leaders through everything, because everything has been designed to impoverish Africa the way it is. And I believe it's possible for us to say no to the system that are actually running in all sectors. First of all, the educational system, because that's why I believe every child so innocent, and if it should be an educational system that should start from home. Every parent should definitely have a concept of the African history to basically pass that on to their children.
And these people have been through, most other ethnic groups would be extinct by now. But we are resilient. We are human beings who are just so committed to survive against all odds. But nonetheless, we're waking up. We're also a continent that's been sleeping. Let me say, we were put to sleep. We were awake, and then we were put to sleep. Now it's time that we wake up to back to our greatness again.
What is the damage that has been sustained because of colonial rule and apartheid?
Let's go back to, I guess, when you look at colonialism and when it was finally just organized in a way that we would then have the Africa that we have today. For Africa, I'll take it back to the Berlin Conference.
Before that, I actually talk more about something which has actually come into mind right now in regards to the educational system. I believe actually it makes us more foolish. You know, it doesn't actually spark out who you are as an individual.
That was held from November of 1884 to February of 1885. As you know, most people don't realize that the European nations were just haphazardly going into Africa and just stealing from the local people. And pretty soon they started stealing. The British would steal from the French, and the French would steal from the Spaniards. And pretty soon they were fighting each other. So the then Chancellor of Germany, Bismarck, in his efforts to prevent the European war on African soil, he reached out to his sidekick, King Leopold of Belgium. And at that time, as you know, Belgium, King Leopold was wreaking havoc in the Congo. People are not aware that over 75% of the Congolese population was killed by Leopold. He actually claimed Congo was his own personal
Absolutely.
Country. He owned it individually, not as Belgium.
And that's why I did have a conversation of Joshua Maponga pointing out that South Africa has been registered as a company in the United States of America. How sad is that?
We called Leopold and say, hey, we got a problem here. Can we come together and see if we can organize the manner in which we're going to loot from these people? So that's really how Berlin Conference was called together. So they brought all the countries that were making this mad rush into Africa so they could organize how they were looting the continent. So really, the Berlin Conference was not called for in order to make Africa better, but rather to see to it that they organize themselves so they can effectively exploit the Africans and also make sure that the continent and its people are forever defeated and dominated.
Does the looting go on today?
Oh, yes. The looting continues, but it has put on different clothes. Now, there's something else they did during the Berlin Conference. Because remember, after they had traveled around the continent, found some of the most powerful kingdoms with well-established educational and religious systems. I mean, the African people are just resilient. When you get to know the Africans, you understand the African spirit. And they knew that if they continued the same way they were going, they would never defeat the Africans. So they set in place a system of colonization and making the Africans believe that everything that was African was bad and everything that was European, particularly British and English,
I
was
want to go back
just resilient.
to that point again, because I believe one thing we were not really taught is to say no and to stand up for yourself and to actually say no to disrespect and basically to fight back towards really belongs to you.
Get to know the Africans, you understand the African spirit. And they knew that if they continued the same way they were going, they would never defeat the Africans. So they set in place a system of colonization and making the Africans believe that everything that was African was bad and everything that was European, particularly British and English, was better. So the seed of divide and conquer was also sown during the Berlin Conference. And they knew, just give it a generation or less, these people, not only are they going to be so divided, because they choked us up into these small economies that really could never survive on their own. You take a country like Equatorial Guinea, Central African Republic, Malawi, Rwanda, Burundi, you know, they're economies that even if they struggle and begin to do better on their own, if the master decides you're becoming too smart, they're very easy to destabilize. And that's exactly what has been going on in our Africa. So Berlin Conference, people don't realize it was designed to see to it that the Africans are forever defeated.
And the fact that it's working right now, I'm definitely quote again Joshua Maponga. It's the fact that we see ourselves as different. It's the fact that we still kind of, fight and argue and not actually communicate with each other as brothers and sisters. It means it still exists.
So for those
and it actually works so well.
Turn around and say, but Ambassador, don't talk about the Berlin Conference. It was a long time ago. And I'll say, as long as we have a country called Malawi, a country called Zimbabwe, a country called Central African Republic, all the African countries really for that matter, Berlin Conference is alive and well. Because that which they set out to do 123, 24 years ago, it's still in place. Nothing has changed. So how can they say Berlin Conference is a thing of history? Don't talk about it. No, what's really sad and what should disgust the world.
Absolutely. We're talking today this morning on the Vibe Show in regards to how you train up a child, right? You can still train up a child with the best upbringing of all time to teach them how to be confident, to speak for themselves, to stand up for themselves, to never allow anybody to downgrade or disrespect them. Even though they might make mistakes and that happened, they'll always remember the voice of the parent that my mother told me that I should never allow anybody to disrespect me, that I'm the greatest of all time. And that spirit will always actually revive back into them and they'll rise again.
Say this policy was put in place 123 years ago and it is still in place and nothing has changed. But what's really worse is when you look at what France did to the Francophone countries in 1958, when they were living, quote unquote, living the continent. They gave the Francophone countries two choices. You can be independent with some affiliations to France, or you can be independent with no affiliations to France. Well, Guinea and Mali say
Africa can and it should be independent without any fake aid that is actually being used to actually impoverish Africa, because Burkina Faso is doing it so well. So we don't need any foreign aid. All these aids are used to actually take you back down to the darkest pit of hell.
We're done with you, France. Goodbye. Leave us alone. That's how we had the first ever known union of any African states. They went into those two countries, took everything that they thought they had brought to them. History tells us they even took the last cup, teaspoon, chair, and proceeded to pour concrete into the sewage pipes, completely devastating the two economies, simply because they refused to be affiliated to France. But what they, and also the Sékou Touré, then president of Guinea at that time, he looked at the pact that France was making the Francophone countries sign. It was called the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization. He refused to sign it.
How many countries in Africa?
Now we're sitting at 14 Francophone countries that are still held on to this pact.
So in the 50-some countries in Africa altogether, were they all colonized?
Yes.
By different
countries?
Different countries?
The majority of the countries went to France,
yes,
Britain. We have Portuguese, we have Spanish, and those are the main ones.
You used the word looting before.
Yes.
The looting continues to this day?
To this day, it continues, but it has a different name.
So tell me what the name is.
Well, the exploitation of Africa continues. Again, to the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization. Guess what? The Francophone countries were told because we brought you the idea that you can sit at a table and eat with a fork and knife. We brought you tea. We built some roads and told you about going to school. We're going to call that colonial debt. So there's a fee for that, and you need to pay for it. They were also told that you must speak French as your official language, and it must be your language of instruction in schools, and we will be the one to design your educational system. And then also your money. 85% of your bank reserves, you will keep them. You will deposit them with the French bank, and we will take that money and invest it in the French stock market, but we don't have to tell you.
Was it in funny that in the educational system they don't teach you how to stabilize yourself, how to become independent as an African, but they teach you how to rely on the jobs that are offered by this foreign nation. They don't teach you on how to actually stabilize your country or your African land as an amazing farmer who should definitely protect their land at all costs, because if you do not have a land, you do not have identity. I'm actually quoting Joshua Maponga.
What the returns are on your money. So collectively, all the Francophone countries that signed that pact, their funds, the 85% of their bank reserves, are invested under French name.
Gotta hold that because we're getting behind on a little break. We are talking with the ambassador who represents the African Union here in the United States. And Her Excellency is giving us an amazing look inside Africa back then and today. Sit tight. This is America and the world. Madam Ambassador, about 50 countries, a little bit more, 50 countries?
55.
55. Population of Africa?
1.27 billion.
1.27 billion people. Give me a couple of success stories.
Success stories, we are having increased rates of literacy. We have many.
As it should be, like 1,000%.
African countries that are increasing their GDPs. 6 of the top 10 fastest growing economies in the world are in Africa. So there's a lot of good news coming out of Africa. But again, because of
There's
this,
also been good news. It's because they do not actually showcase that in the media, because the idea of Africa being impoverished is what is actually showcased in the media. But there's always good news. There's always good conversation of people who say no to disrespect, people who stand and actually call out these leaders who, quote unquote, politicians who are there for their own benefit. And the fact that there's a rise of a generation who are actually saying no to everything that doesn't have to do with Africa and the rise of Africa.
same strategy of branding Africa as a diseased and dying continent where people are constantly at war with each other. People are not seeing the good news out of Africa.
So what are the myths? What are the myths about Africa? Just name 3 things that we should get in our minds that when Africa is in the conversation or Africa is in the news, that we should be thinking about. 3 myths.
1, Africa is the richest continent on earth by far.
Number 1, the wealthiest nation of all time.
Oh,
yes. No continent comes even close. 1, 2, we are all Africans because life began in Africa. Life as we know it, I can tell you.
They gotta put respect on that name.
Brother, right now, you do your DNA testing, I can tell you a good 50% of you is African. We are all Africans.
They gotta put respect on that name and put our name out of their mouth.
And thirdly,
proud to be.
Thank you. And then thirdly, I want everybody to know about the wonderful news coming out of Africa. Remember, we were talking about the Berlin Conference, how we were designed to fail through these little countries we were divided up. Well, guess what? Game is over. April this year, we saw our leaders come together and signing the African Continental Free Trade Agreement.
Yes.
Yes, so we have 50 countries that have already signed, and we're going through the process of ratifications.
The rise of Africa is here, regardless you like it or not. It's going to happen, and it's time for you to put respect on that name, like 100%. But before we move on, let's listen in to the health and benefit of some of the supplements we do have for you.
Discover the natural power of ashwagandha, an ancient herb known for its healing properties. For over 3,000 years, ashwagandha has been trusted to reduce stress, increase energy, and improve focus. Our ashwagandha is carefully grown, harvested, and processed to retain its maximum potency. Each root is hand-picked and dried, then ground into a pure organic powder, ensuring the highest quality. Simply mix 1 teaspoon into your favorite beverage or take it in capsule form as prescribed by a healthcare professional. Whether you're looking to balance your stress levels, boost your immune system, or enhance mental clarity, ashwagandha offers a natural solution. Experience the benefits of ancient wisdom backed by modern science. Trust nature. Trust ashwagandha. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
$3.90. You'll definitely get your ashwagandha. You can download our app on the Google Play Store, stream on www.blackhotfire Radio Network. If you're using the iPhone or the computer, if you're using the Android device, just use the Google Play. So you'll definitely get your supplements, apparel, clothing with the Black Hot Fire Radio logo on it. Back to the conversation about scraping off African debt aid and Euro educational system. And you're saying put some respect on that name, and the name is Africa, honey.
We need 22 of the 50 to ratify. Already we have 10 ratifications deposited with the African Union.
So free trade agreement in Africa.
In Africa.
For African countries.
We're going to negotiate as one bloc. We have made a commitment as Africans that the only way we can survive, which is what our Pan-African fathers wanted, to speak with one voice, one continent, one voice. And that's, we're finally getting there. We're finally beginning to bury the Berlin Conference.
Yes, I see that happening. I see the wave of the rise of Africa. I'm seeing that with the fact that Kenyans are actually coming through for Tanzania, standing up with Tanzania through this season that is actually happening.
Okay, African Union. What is it? What is it all about?
African Union. Remember when our Pan-African leaders met in 1964 and created OAU? It was during that wonderful Organization of African Unity.
Mhm.
That's when Kwame Nkrumah proclaimed Africa was for the Africans and African Union now. 55 years later, we are yet to attain that perfect African Union, but that's okay. We're getting there. He also proclaimed you were not African because you were born in Africa, but rather you were African because Africa is born in you. Now, this is the most beautiful part. Yes.
Nice.
As I've lived in this country, I've met many people who may never have been born in Africa or never have even set foot in Africa, but they have Africa born in them. So I see a lot of brothers and sisters who may not look like him, but they're definitely Africans. Since 1964.
Well, we gotta go back to the biological, facts, the scientific facts about, being African. That really matters. Number one, 100%.
After the creation of the OAU, the whole purpose of the OAU was to rebuild the Africa and destroy the boundaries that were imposed upon us during the Berlin Conference. It's been difficult because remember that seed of divide and conquer, it's deep among us. Trying to get us to work together. We are so divided among tribal lines, religious lines, even now racial lines and national lines. So we are very divided people, but getting us to realize that we are suffering from the legacy of colonialism is work in progress. We must keep preaching. People must have a serious conversation with the image in the mirror because the healing starts here.
Absolutely.
How about your job, your mission?
My mission,
the healing starts in the mind, in everything. The mind is the fastest way to actually, heal yourself. In the fact that we were not educated about our African history. Healing starts in the mind, and the fact that it should scrape up the mentality that you're not better, that you're not worthy, that you're not good enough.
By the 55 African heads of state and my chairman, Musa Faki Mahamat, two major mandates: to promote Africa in the Americas and also to strengthen the bridges between Africa and the Americas and to bring the children of the diaspora back home.
There are challenges, of course.
Yes, there are.
And that's really happening. Shout out to my dear, lovely, good friend. She's like a sister right now, Miss Kier Simon. She's doing amazing with the Traverse culture, relocating a lot of African Americans back to Africa. I'm going to share a video right away. And that's why I'm super hopeful that there is a rise for Africa right now in this moment.
Pretty still.
Yes.
Conflict, literacy, but education moving along. Health. You're a physician.
That is a serious problem. People are not aware. If all the continental African doctors were to return home today, we're only going to meet about 20% of the need. Africa needs at least 1.2 million doctors today. So as you can imagine, no amount of money put into healthcare in sub-Saharan Africa is going to deliver the desired results because the capacity is simply not there. There are more African.
I want to share that video right away because why not? We're definitely in the spirit of Ubuntu. Miss Kier over here doing amazing. And also Hassan is in Kenya right now. But I want to share a video of what's happening.
In partnership with Traverse Culture has unveiled the Journey Back to Eden initiative to attract African Americans, Afro-Caribbeans, and the global African diaspora back to Kenya. Officials say it could redefine Kenya's tourism landscape by diversifying source markets.
And we've often said it's been a 400-year, but it's been at least 700 years disconnect of the stolen children of Africa being able to return home, and not only be able to return home, but bring back the brilliantness, the warriorness, the investments, the opportunities that Africa deserve, and Kenya definitely is in the forefront of it right now.
It gives an opportunity to African Americans and generally the diaspora to come back to Kenya. One, to tour and sample the touristic attractions that are there in the country, and two, to be able to invest, whether it's in medical tourism, whether it is in the hospitality sector, whether it is in the transport sector, and other business opportunities that are available. The significance is that it gives an opportunity to the private sector to play a critical role. It also highlights to them that really they must come out. You know, if we have to attain the 5 million tourists from 2027 and even more, the private sector must really play a critical role.
That's it in regards to Traverse Culture doing fascinating over here. Another shot.
Traverse Culture relocates a family of 4 to Kenya from the U.S. This is us at the airport, but I want to start by saying this particular family chose to do our investigative tour. Back in June, the wife came, we took her to Malindi, Diani, Mombasa, and Kilifi, and ultimately they chose Malindi. They're both retired, and the husband is ex-military, so that was great. He was so impressed with the team, he wanted to let me know on the side. So I was just really pleased that the team was able to do, the work that we normally do for our clients. This is us taking them to one of our boutique hotels. One of the things we like to do is when you first arrive, we want to take the worry away from you so you can just relax and just enjoy your new home, Kenya. This is us heading to the room and showing them where they'll be staying for the first night here in Nairobi, and they were super impressed. What we were able to do was also get them a conjoined room with the husband and wife. You can see that he was impressed, and the children. And once again, the baby girl says, I live in Kenya now.
Yes, come on.
Listen, if you're interested in relocating to Kenya, go over to our website at tverse.com and book your consultation. If you're also interested in booking an investigative tour, you can do that at our website as well. To see this full experience of us relocating this family to Kenya, go over to our YouTube page. We're going to vlog the entire journey so that you can see it. I want to see you there, guys. Make sure if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put it in the comment section. I'll see you there. Peace.
And that's what's up. It's called the Unity Spirit. And as a part of their relocation journey, their team, basically Traverse Culture, is now assisting them with purchasing land and building their dream home, enrolling their children in school, securing primary care and dental coverage, integrating the entire family into the Malindi community, redefining Africa as we redefine ourselves. That's how we do it over here on Let's Pop with Iwirtan. Back to the conversation of what we are talking about, and the topic, as I said once again, is about scraping off African Debt Aid, or scraping off African Debt Aid and Euro educational system. Back to the one and only Joshua Maponga is talking more about this.
Neocolonialism it's a concept now. It's a drug that Africa is intoxicated with. But now we need to define the colonialist first. Then we need to discuss the colonized second. Then we discuss colonization as a concept. And ultimately to be talking about neo-colonialism. So colonialists could simply mean after the Berlin Conference, which is the Congo Conference, and the division of Africa into the hands of the European colonizers, to name but a few: British, top of the list, the Belgians, the French, and the Portuguese, and the Italians. All started doing what we call the grab for Africa, scramble for Africa, as they call it. And then getting there, you get there with your soldiers, you fight the local kings, the local chiefs, you take as many cattle as you can. In some certain cases, take women and children, create an industry of workers, have access to the resources, call your friends from back home to come over and take over land, take over mines, take over the means of production in the whole country. And this has been going on for 200, 300, 400, 500 years, to be more precise, but more intensively in the past 100 years. That's we have seen the flood of the Europe into Africa. And I must say that America was not here, Russia was not here, and China was not here, and India was not here during that grave for Africa. So basically, we are looking at the Roman Empire. So all of them are Romans. That's why we have even the Anglo-Saxons, the Romans, the Herulis, the Visigoths, the Alemanes, the Germans in Namibia. And then you look at them rushing into Africa, taking a piece of pen, drawing their maps around, dividing nations, dividing tribes. How does it make sense that the Maasai of
the fact that I'm so hopeful right now about this generation, I'm seeing a lot of young people or people just marrying from whatever country, from whatever tribe, mostly in this generation. It's not like the way it was at the time when you couldn't marry this person from this community or this tribe. Right now, the fact that I'm really, really, really hopeful that there's a new wave of Africans rising and reclaiming back who they truly are, is because, you know what, people don't really care if you're from this tribe. They don't care from this community. We are just coming together and redefining everything that was actually set apart.
Tanzania are different from the Maasais of Kenya, different from the Maasais of Uganda. Like really? And the Tongas of Zambia, Angola, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe. So colonialism simply meant the division of Africa into the colonial hands. The next group then will be the colonized. Colonized are the Africans, who then find themselves as subjects and slaves on their own land. No more rights of driving their own agenda, but now they must report to a system, and the system which reports back to its European principles. So colonialism finds its main drivers being the kings of Europe and the governments of Europe, and their appetite for African resources and products and services, and to access that by force, bringing the people of those regions into subordination through war, genocides, and mass killing. And then colonization became the institution where these various governments started to work in cooperation with each other, creating preferable trade routes for each other, depending on their own relationships.
Absolutely. I want to share another video of the one and only, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Joshua Mapponga, talking more about the educational system that does not benefit the African community. I should definitely get it there right away, right now. There we go. Okay, that's Philo.
The Arab conquerors. The Arabs didn't come to Egypt until 640. The first non-African people came to Egypt, otherwise called the Hyksos, in 1675 BC. The Africans there were already in the 13th dynasty period. They had built every pyramid you saw there before. They had done the S-turn in the Nile. They built every one of the major temples that had already been built, including the Grand Lodge of Luxor. The first European to come there did not arrive until the Greeks arrived with Alexander II, the son of Philip of Macedonia.
Look, I'm a college graduate. I never heard all this stuff.
Because they didn't intend to teach you that. They can't tell you that you're inferior and teach you that
Absolutely.
you taught Egypt, Europe. The first Europeans to be civilized by the Africans were the Greeks. When you heard of Homer, the first European to have written anything, you couldn't miss that. They said that Homer wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey. And that was not until 833 BC.
That's what happened. It's in the African history you were never taught at school. The educational system wasn't built to educate you. The education institutions were built to indoctrinate you. Academic intelligence isn't the highest form of intelligence. It's one of many forms of intelligence.
Africans had already in 255,000 at the Tassili Mountain. They had the Sibyllian period, first, second, and third, the pre-dynastic period, all the way up. The Africans had produced men like this, Imhotep, the multi-genius that designed the step pyramid of Saqqara, the first man to be a physician that even Hippocrates, the so-called father of medicine, is giving him credit and call him the god of medicine. The Greeks changed his name from Imhotep,
not written in our books,
to Aesculapius. There he is.
That's it. We do have another one that I wanted to share for Joshua Mapponga.
The Arab conquerors.
I think that's it. But next to the next one right away, before we come to the end of the conversation, as you download our app, get your supplements, family. You need it. We have to definitely be here to redefine the cause of Africa. Come on.
The education system we have in Africa is an education that teaches us how to use white man manufactured properties to solve our own problem, and not how to create those things to solve the problem for ourselves. For instance, if you go to a Nigerian average medical today, a Nigerian hospital, you see in a complete hospital facility the surgical knife that the doctor is going to use to carry out an operation, the glove, the sterilized water, everything from beginning to end, the syringe, the needle, all are imported from outside Nigeria and comes available to the doctor. So the doctor is only on how to use those materials. It simply means that should in case Nigeria have to fight a war today with America or China, they don't even need to come.
We talked about it with Sankara. We missed him today. He's going to be there on Friday. We're not ready for war, Arnie. We're not ready for any kind of war as the African continent.
And start fighting you militarily. All they can just do is to stop the supply of those. Stop supplying them needles, stop supplying them gloves, stop supplying them surgical knife. We just find out that automatically your medical doctor becomes helpless because his own knowledge stops at utilization of those equipment to solve problems. But the origin of education is education that begins the creation of those elements or those equipment before you begin to utilize. Because in the face of war, we don't ask you whether you know how to use it. We ask you how your availability of creating those things. And so today in Africa, we have been
is the real education we need, how to create our own things. We do not have that in influx in the African continent. Why? Ask yourself that question, because you definitely know the reason why.
An education that galvanizes the energy of the youth and focuses them on pursuing just memory and not pursuing solution of creation of the problems facing their environment. We are not yet facing our environment in Africa. We are facing education. We are facing book. And unfortunately, written books and written exams don't solve problems in our society. And so education becomes one of the biggest problems in Africa, because through this system
you question your intelligence, because it's like, okay, I'm not good at this, but honey, they haven't taught you about your African history. That's the thing we should definitely be worried about.
Mechanism, we have continually graduated.
You know your identity, you have your power. If you have your power, honey, nobody can tell you anything, because you know who the hell you are.
That over thousands of young boys every year from the university who come out and they become helpless before the face of the society because they have no single solution they can offer to the society. You see somebody said he studied pharmacist. In the company where he's working, all he's doing is receiving drugs, mixing the drugs together, and then selling it to the public. But all the drugs from beginning to end come from India. You come to talk about the paracetamol powder, the ibuprofen, everything comes out from outside Nigeria to him. All he knows is now to just sit down there and be selling those drugs for people. And the next thing that pharmacist began is to start getting jealous that there is another young guy out there who didn't study pharmacy, and that person is selling the same drug he's selling. His anger is not that he has much more better knowledge than the person. His anger is that guy didn't have certificate that he had. So the ego was built for certificate, because certificate is just a license that gives people.
That's what's happening. In the last video, before we delve into the main conversation, as we're actually winding up right our way.
And structurally miseducated and undereducated about our histories, our cultures, and who we are in the global context. And this miseducation is often used as a means to control or get us into working against ourselves unknowingly. This is what Dr. Carter G. Woodson, the founder of Negro History Week, which is now Black History Month, was trying to fight against. He said, if you control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his action. When you determine what a man shall think.
Yes, come on. And also, who he feeds you controls you.
You don't have to concern yourself about what he will do. If you can make a man feel that he is inferior, you don't have to compel him to accept an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. If you can make a man think that he is justly an outcast, you do not have to order him to the back door. He will go without being told.
We're gonna repeat that again because
so fire. African Americans have been structurally miseducated and undereducated about our histories, our cultures, and who we are in the global context. And this miseducation is often used as a means to control or get us into working against ourselves unknowingly. This is what Dr. Carter G. Woodson, the founder of Negro History Week, which is now Black History Month, was trying to fight against. He said, if you control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his action. When you determine what a man shall think, you don't have to concern yourself about what he will do. If you can make a man feel that he is inferior, you don't have to compel him to accept an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. If you can make a man think that he is justly an outcast, you do not have to order him to the back door. He will go without being told.
Come on, that's it on the show.
I'm submitting that in order for
over here, we do have an amazing conversation that we did. It was a very fire show. I loved it, honestly. The concept, or basically the main topic, was about scraping off African debt aid and Euro educational system. Go back and basically do a lot of learning and relearning because you're a god. They're not telling you. I will always be telling you every day, you are a god, honey. Act like it, walk like it, and do not let anybody disrespect you. Tell them, put some respect on that name because, honey, you know who I am. But let's listen into the health and benefit of some of the supplements we do have for you.
Unlock your full potential with Brain and Focus, a powerful supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba, omega-3, and essential vitamins, Brain and Focus is crafted to fuel your mind. Our process ensures maximum potency and effectiveness, delivering the perfect balance of brain-boosting nutrients. Take just one capsule daily, as prescribed by your healthcare provider, and feel the difference. Whether it's powering through your workday or staying sharp in life's challenges, Brain and Focus keeps you at the top of your game. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay ahead with Brain and Focus. Brain and Focus, fuel your mind, achieve more. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Super affordable price. Thank you for the ones who are listening to me on YouTube, Twitter, and Rumble. My name is Irutong Lungoria. Always sending you so much love and light because you are the change you need to see in the world. We're always talking about redefining Africa and redefining Africa. Have a beautiful, awesome, fabulous the rest of your evening. But see you on the next show. But before that, I'll definitely share my closing motivational quote because, honey, I gotta remind you who the hell you are. But also, it is so funny. I'm gonna play it.
Marry the wrong person, every day is Halloween. Marry a lazy person, every day is Labor Day. Marry a rich person, every day is New Year's Day. Marry a loving person, every day is Christmas Day. Marry a generous person, every day is Thanksgiving Day. Marry an immature person, every day would seem like it is Children's Day. Marry a cheater or a liar, every day will become April Fool's Day. If you marry the right person, every day is Valentine's Day. If you don't get married, every day is Independence Day.
Come on, honey. That's what's up. Every day is Independence Day, but have a good one. Sending you so much love and light. See you next time.
Greetings and salutations, Massive. Here's Andrew Robinson, your Jamaican brother all the way in Switzerland. And you're tuning into the Black Hot Fire Radio. And you're listening to
One hit at a time.
Feel the hits. Feel the freshness.
Bad boy, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when you come? What you when you come? Oh, you how you fucking kung fu? In the most
One hit at a time.
Rambo 2, Rambo 3, silly, take your casualties. Rock hits, like Pepsi.
What you gonna do when it comes on me like
You're now listening to the best music.
feel the freshness. There's no food. The red bull in the back. When the house blue. Back to a chicken. The crack in the roof. Or they call me M.O. Hello. Low Q. That's a M.O. She away with it. She grab it. That's M.O. Hey, yo. Let's go. It's a concept. Let's go. It's true. This is my new retro. I'm Brad Lee. And the MC MC. That's me in my house. Hello. OST. You know, E&D. We make things like clever. Feel the freshness.